question, guys. How did the Ninja Turtles happen? Explain how you came together in the process of getting the original roles.
We auditioned.
Next question.
You get, auditions, and my agent called up and said, I've got an audition for you for a possible cartoon series called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I said, is that all you have to do with your day is call me and make jokes? So he said, no, really, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I said, okay. And I went down thinking this was the most insane audition I'd ever been on. And read a few pages and loved it. Just loved it. It was just funny from the very, very beginning. And then we auditioned, I think, for all different parts. I mean, we auditioned for, most of us auditioned for all four. And then they just put us together. So how they put us together, I don't know the story about that, but they put us together. They saw me as Donatello, and all the rest of the guys can tell their stories.
Yeah, reflecting on what Barry said, it's the same thing. Townsend and I actually were working on an animated version of Fraggle Rock for NBC. Where the hell were you when the show was being canceled? I'm not a big comic book guy, but I was familiar with the comic book a little bit, and man, one thing led to another. And like Barry said, we audition for stuff all the time, but the answer, not trying to sort of jump the shark a bit, but the answer to one of the questions is, did you ever have any idea? And Tom and I were just talking about this a minute ago. This is crazy how you audition for something, and if you're lucky, you get to make a living, but it's something that has become iconic to the extent that you come back 25 years later, and we get to meet all you guys. It's an amazing experience. So, Mikey will tell you.
Yeah. Well, like Rob said, we were working on Fraggle Rock at the time for NBC, and I remember the voice director of Fraggle Rock came into a session we were doing one day and pulled out his briefcase and said, "You guys aren't going to believe what I'm going to be casting and directing next." And he pulls out a comic book of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and shows us. I mean, I remember us looking at it going, "What?" Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Right? But he brought us into audition, and like Barry said, I think we all went for all parts. And who knows why we ended up with what we ended up with? I don't know. But I remember when we started the show, Cam and I, they knew that Rob was going to be Raphael and Barry was going to be Donatello, but they hadn't decided whether Cam was going to be Michelangelo or Leonardo. And same with me until we got to that first section.
So they went back and forth between switching us and switching us and switching us.
Well, you're not comfortable in orange generally. So
This is the Michelangelo, which shows you how jealous I am.
Yeah, he had to pull it out 25 years later. So,
I'm sorry, what was the question? Everyone wants to know who you are. Well, I'm Cam and Leonardo, and these guys pretty much said everything. What can I? Yeah, it was just an audition, or an audition.
An additional audition.
An additional audition. Everybody say that. An additional audition. Yeah, Leonardo's one line is always, "We gotta think of something fast." I will tell you that when the show started, these three wacky coconuts had all the funny lines, and as the leader, I was the straight man of the group, and I'm going like, "Wait, I can say something funny? Can you say something funny?"
Yeah,
No, you just say, "We gotta think of something fast."
Yeah, but because you and Barry got to be Rocksteady and Bebop with that.
Rocksteady? Yeah, Bebop, that's right. Yeah, we did get to do that. I think they like the voice. You guys want to hear them do the voices? Is that what you want? We haven't heard Rob or...
Sure, you tit-faced geek, get back here and taste cold turtle steel!
a little out of breath.
A little out of breath. Turtle steel. Big Cowabunga.
Cowabunga dudes!
Nothing handy getting a table at a restaurant.
Yeah, you've been listening to my voice already. So it's just this, higher, that's all it is. That's Donatello. Hey, the turtle man is busted again.
We gotta think of something fast! It's a shame he's so shy.
Yeah, so she knows how to work the crowd.
All right, so on that note, let's open it up, Jesse. Who do we got?
Yeah. Do we have anybody out there with a question? You guys can raise your hands. I'll come to you. Anybody at all?
Don't be shy. Any question you want, guys?
Right here in the front.
Do you want our room numbers?
Yes, hello.
Hi.
So I was wondering, what was it like getting back together for the episode you did recently for the new Turtles cartoon?
That was cool. I think we did an episode of the new Ninja Turtles, which many of you have probably seen, which all of us got to talk to our new iterations, our new turtles.
Ronnie got to talk to himself.
I am a lottery winner, man, because I'm Donatello in the series now. So I've got to be 50% of the Ninja Turtles. Thank you. I figure if I live to be 100, I can knock all four of them. But yeah, it's pretty amazing to be able to get another ride of the Turtle Man 25 years later. We did do an episode in which we got to speak to our former selves. It was kind of cool because Greg Sipes, who was playing Michelangelo now in the new episode, he sees the old turtles walking down the street and he says, why are we such geeks or nerds or something like that? Why are we such nerds? And dorks, yeah, dorks, an affectionate term. Because, you know, the animation was a little more rudimentary back in just after the Civil War. Hardcore, yeah.
Don't use such big words.
Sorry.
Rudimentary.
I didn't mean to be rudimentary. We're so ubiquitous now, too. There's my $100 bill.
Truth though about that episode,
No truth.
because it would seem like it was this wonderful reunion that happened, but we came in, we worked for 5 minutes, and we left separately. So we never did see each other, and
Except that Barry and I did.
oh, that's right, we crossed.
We saw each other at Nick
That's right.
that morning.
That's right, we did pass in the night. But basically, yeah, we came in, we did our lines, because that's how it's done a lot these days. And when we worked, we had chairs and music stands, and we were always together. And that was amazing because it let us fool around and play and improvise.
and indoor plumbing.
That's right. But it was a fun way to work because we really got to do that. And you guys are doing that, right?
Yeah, by and large, the new episodes are
Yeah.
everybody together, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really cool to work that way. But actually, our big reunion was thanks to this guy. Because our big reunion was thanks to this guy, because for the first time in a very long time, we all got together to do Rob's podcast. And that was our big reunion, which is an amazing podcast.
And what was so fun about that is we actually, before the podcast, Robbie wanted to just get the four of us together and just talk about what the podcast was going to be like. So we met at a restaurant, and that was the first time the four of us, I think, had been together in a year. It was crazy. It was so great.
Yeah, it really is like kind of like getting the band back together, but now we've had
But now we go to the early bird.
Yeah. Actually, the thing is, we now all qualify for the free coffee at Denny's. I'll tell you what, you have a Superbird and free coffee for $5. You get a residual check and you spend it all at Denny's.
I had moved over my hammy.
Yeah, my hand. The thing though, thanks to Jeff, Tony, folks like, we've found that nostalgia is such a powerful emotion, and today it's a great example. We have people here who grew up watching the original Turtles, and their kids love the new Turtles, and it's an amazing experience that is incredibly rare, you guys, to do something in the entertainment business in which you get to see the second wave that is, arguably as popular as the first one is.
There was an audition about a month or so ago for a game thing, and they were looking for turtles that weren't us and weren't the new cast, but I read for this game, and I read, you know, Leonardo, and I ended up booking it.
Yay.
But so I go to the session. And do the little thing, and I just kind of hipped up Leonardo from 700 years ago. And as the session was ending, I said, I just got to ask you something. I'm just really curious. Am I here because I'm Cam Clarke? And they went, well, yeah, that's you on the cast list there. And I went, no, because I'm the original Leonardo. And they were like, get out! You were? No, we just thought that you had the essence of Leonardo. You sound just like the original. You sound like the original, dude. So that was pretty fun to get to be Leonardo 25 years later. They didn't know who I was, and I still got it.
Cheer up.
All right, just stop the dancing. How about Jesse? Do we have any other questions? Anybody? Oh, over there.
Anyone? Right over here?
Axel has a question.
Right here?
Yeah,
What do you got?
How old were you guys when you guys started?
How old was
How old were you when you started?
I was the entertainment at the Last Supper. Many people don't know. In those days I was Chevy or Theater.
It was before the war.
It was before any
Civil.
Yeah. You know what? The Townsend was talking about this. The very first cartoons I ever did were Transformers and G.I. Joe, the original one, 1983. So I was 31, 32. So yeah, we both, which makes us now 100.
Well, I was
Turtles live a long time. So.
I was 11.
All that matters is that I was the youngest of these four, and I'm still the youngest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I think pretty much did. Was the first show you did Ninja Turtles, the first animated show? Because you had a huge on-camera career, and also remember the Quick Bunny? There he was, the Quick Bunny for 30 years.
Ask him what that sounds like.
Close your eyes, it sounds like Donatello.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna make me do the quick bunny? Or
Who wants to hear the next quick money?
you can't drink it slow if it's quick. A little more bottom. Okay.
Any of you young ladies watch Monster High? Yeah?
I'm Heath.
And Professor Rollo.
And who too? Yeah, well, okay. Well, I saw some new generation. I thought I'd go for it.
I am so out of here. I was gonna say, as soon as you said Monster High, her face lit up. And then you did the voice, and she was like, and I gotta say this kid, when he asked how old you were when you started, you said 31, he went, oh, that was old too. 31 was old, man. He was old then. All right, Jesse, where
All
are you?
right, I'm over here. We've got our next question right here.
Did you guys ever improv your lines just to screw around?
Sure, we gotta think of something fast.
And if we didn't, Pat Fraley, who plays Krang, always came. Yes. So, but yeah, we got to do quite a little bit of improvising and playing around.
I think, that's kind of the nature of the beast. Especially when you're comfortable enough with your, buddies, your fellow actors, and the scripts, you kind of get rolling on the show, and it sort of lends itself to doing that. Doesn't mean it always ends up in the show, but I've found that certainly with these guys and other shows in which I've worked, when the actors are given that freedom, all it does is help the show. It is a hugely collaborative effort, because man, I can't even draw stick figures. I just act them. I don't draw them and I don't write them, but other good actors, high tide raises all boats. They make me better. So it's, is that right?
Yeah, we don't have that rain or thunderous applause.
we've heard in how many years now?
Yeah, a long time.
Question for the audience. Where can I get a poncho?
Yeah.
Any theme park you go to will sell them for $29.95.
We have a question up front here.
Yes, right here.
When I was growing up, I always collected the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. My favorite were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Trolls.
Trolls?
Yeah.
Trolls?
Yeah, they had trolls. It was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle body with the hair.
Can I have
He's gonna
yours?
be on eBay in 5 minutes.
Dang!
Was their hair the color of their?
Yeah, the hair was the color of the fence.
Yeah.
What? Was there ever like a toy that you saw and you were like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever?
The giant turtles, the ones that came in a box, like this, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Those were-
The first time as an actor, the first time that I had my own action figure, listen, I'm a total geek, man, and it's really cool to see your own action figure. It's excellent, and it never gets old. It's very cool. Plus, the thing is, I mean, let's face it, it's called show business, and people are buying action figures. We're working, so I'm incredibly. I don't think I've ever seen a bad toy. It's something I'm working on. I'm grateful.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of collectors out there who,
Yeah.
you know, depending on the show that they love, will just buy oodles and noodles and stuff. And I remember when the action figures for Turtles started coming out, and I went to Toys R Us to get Michelangelo's figure, and I thought, I'm gonna start, you know, I'm gonna keep an eye on these things because I want to start getting them. And then they just kept going. Kept going. And at some point, after a couple of years, I had to finally put the brakes on.
It still is like that.
Yeah.
Now, at last Christmas, with the new turtle toys, I could go to Toys R Us, maybe sold out turtle toys. So it's pretty exciting on every level. It's really
I remember the first action figure that I saw was when we were doing Fraggle Rock, and they came out with the action, well, the action,
Yeah.
Fraggle Rock action,
Yeah.
Gobo action figure.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but it was like in a Taco Bell,
Yeah,
you know, kids
Happy
meal.
Meal type thing, yeah. Yeah.
I guess I need to take that back. My favorite was the Barbie.
We would say that.
Was there, did Barbie put on a?
Barbie Ninja Turtle,
No.
why not?
No, well it should.
But aren't there, is it Turtles at McDonald's now? Happy Meals now? What's that? Oh, yeah, but they are coming, I think. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I got another question right here in the front. That's for you. Hi.
Why we have masks? Well, in Cam's case, it's because he's had so much face work done. I've got a little extra wrestle in myself. That's a good question. Probably because to just differentiate. Right? Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think, you know, they have the, on the one, you know, the original one, they had the belts with their initials. Because otherwise, you wouldn't be able to really tell them apart.
Did we wear them in the lair too, or just when we were outside fighting?
I think all the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
But you know what? The thing is, though, I'm quite proud of the fact that in our show, the original show, as far as I can tell, there was a really, thanks, buddy, there was a very clear delineation between the characters. It sounded, see, he agrees with me. There was a very clear delineation, and you know, everything Turtle has been successful, without question. But the original show, the characters sounded different, their attitudes were different. Not everybody was a party dude, right? You were the art party guy, and I was kind of the smart, kind of like the guy. And so it was very clear, and even though we had the different
That's true.
I really love that the characters were very different. And people are very dedicated to their turtle. Oh, man. Yeah, it's really cool.
And I think that's true about the new show, too. My only question is that, is there a backstory to how I got my tooth knocked out? In the new one.
It's not knocked out, it's just kind of David Letterman.
It's just, oh, it's a gap. Oh, okay. Okay.
I have a
I was wondering about that.
See, Donatello is a little more. It's in fights.
Yeah, yeah.
And have you seen the previews for the new one? Have you seen the previews on TV? They take the mask off.
Yeah.
I think they should leave them on. All right, we got another question right over here.
Yeah, right?
Okay, in honor of James Avery, can any of you guys tell us some stories of our shredder we just recently lost?
I don't, except for the fact that I remember James always was barefoot.
Always.
Always was barefoot in every session.
Man, so
Yeah.
bare feet were like imitating.
But, yeah, right. But boy, what a jovial, happy, and just wonderful, wonderful guy James was.
He, you know, it was about one of the things that I love about doing this gig, especially at this level, when you have something that has become an iconic show. We all started together, including James, and he had not yet gotten Fresh Prince of Bel-Air either. Right. And I remember that after, when he got Fresh Prince, he got very busy with his schedule. It was not even every episode. But then a few years ago, we were up at Kevin Eastman's house. Yeah, this summer. Right. And James was there with us. Kevin Eastman was one of the creators of the show. And James said to me that the Turtles experience was probably one of the two highlights of his career, the other one being Fresh Prince. So that's pretty high praise coming from a guy who's a Shakespeare-trained actor. Did not, it wasn't like, oh, I'm doing this goofy Turtle show. He was incredibly proud of it. And we find that a lot. Well, like the new show, you know, there are a lot of celebrity talent. Sean Astin is a movie star. Jason Biggs, right, is on Orange is the New Black. And these guys were thrilled to death. They all had to audition for it because they wanted to be on Ninja Turtles. It's a remarkable thing. Thanks, Michelle.
All right, Jessica.
Looks like we have time for one more. We're going to go right here in the middle.
Thanks again for coming, guys. There's a lot to appreciate about the Turtles and the Turtles franchise as a whole. For each of you, what would you say is the most underappreciated aspect of the Turtles?
Want to start, Brandon? I think the fact
We gotta think of something fast. I think I am the most underappreciated thing in the Ninja Turtles, right? Okay, next.
You know, the thing that, well, I shouldn't say it's underappreciated. It's maybe underappreciated by the general public because they don't get to see the cool things that we get to do as a result of being Turtles. The greatest thing to me about getting 2 shots at this is that I get to be flavor of the month for a while again. And you know, we all, and not just the Turtles, people who do this for a living. You know, you can call kids on the phone, whether it's their birthdays or hospitals and all that stuff. And man, I'm telling you what, when these kids believe they're talking to Michelangelo, and when you get these letters from child life specialists and parents on how for 5 minutes, you know, their kid has been on dialysis for 6 months, gets to forget about that. So I shouldn't say it's underappreciated. It's not.
It's not
Yeah,
known.
it's the most incredible experience of which I get much more than the kids do. It's very selfish. I love it. So you're not going to be, you know, people aren't going to want to talk to Turtles all the time. They want to talk to SpongeBob. By the way, Tom Kenny is an incredibly generous man and calls people all the time. So that's the coolest thing about this for me. You know, we all get to make a living. That's great. But the things that have nothing to do with action figures or ratings, it's a pure expression of how important these characters are, whatever they are, Bart Simpson.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that also sort of piggybacking on that, is that what I don't think any of us were prepared for when we started the series so long ago was the impact that it would have on so many people. And, you know, we started getting the letters and reading the letters at our sessions and just going, holy cow, really? I mean, this means that much to so many people. And yet, the general population watching the cartoon wouldn't ever know these individual stories, you know, what was going on. But then, you know, and especially on the internet, you know, now, just the stories and stories and stories that we hear from kids who grew up with it and who are now adults and just come up to us and say, you have no idea what you guys meant to us and what your taught me to, whatever. And to me, that's the most underappreciated, because it's just not widely known.
That's exactly right. I wouldn't call it underappreciated, but it's probably the least understood aspect of what we did. And when you talk to people that weren't fans of the show, yeah, they get that it was funny and they get that it was popular, but I had no idea that we were having an impact until I met the first fan that I ever met, who was a gentleman named Ryan Jean. And Ryan, as some of you who know Ryan know, has cerebral palsy. And he started to contact me about Turtles and the impact that Turtles had made on him personally, on his life. And my first thought was, how is that possible? It's a cartoon. But the more you think about Turtles, it does stand for something. There's a moral compass to the show. And I think that a lot of people really did take some life lessons from that show. And I think if you try to explain that to people that never saw the Turtles, they wouldn't get that. So if we want to call it underappreciated, maybe, but I think, as I said, I think it's the least understood aspect.
Hey, and I have to say that, Barry says if you try and explain that to people who, haven't really seen the show or don't get the show, that's one thing. But I have to say that it honestly never really occurred to me when we were doing the show that it would have this kind of impact until I started hearing these stories and going, holy cow, I never even thought about that.
Overwhelming. Really.
All right, folks, big round of applause for the Turtles.